Hey guys, this is part 2 in my Sydex 486 restoration series, and we're jumping right into an installation of Windows 95. Specifically, this is Windows 95B. 95B introduced the FAT32 file system that allows us to use larger hard drives. So that'll accommodate this massive 850 meg drive. In case you haven't seen part 1, this is a 486 DX266 with 16 megs of memory and an 850 meg hard drive. And let's put in my perfectly legitimate certificate of authenticity. As far as I know, Microsoft never officially published the algorithm for generating these key codes, but they're fairly easy to find on the internet nowadays. Not that I'm advocating software piracy. And scanning for hardware. But of course I have to tell Windows that I have a network card and a sound card. I wasn't sure which of these I wanted to install. In the end, I actually just ticked all the boxes and installed everything. I was kind of surprised. I expected by this point that Windows would include TCP/IP by default, but no, not even in Windows 95. Well, at least they included it on the Windows 95 disk. And now I don't want a startup disk. This is Windows 95. This is a modern operating system. What could possibly go wrong? Welcome to Microsoft Windows 95. What you want to do and more is now possible. I don't know, Microsoft. I think you underestimate what I want to do. Windows 95 is the easiest Windows yet. A new and improved interface. Yeah, that interface actually debuted in Windows NT 4 and was ported over into 95. And we're going to have more fun with Windows 95. This part of the install is actually sped up by a factor of 10. The full installation of Windows 95 on this computer took about an hour and a quarter. Oh, and it includes plug and play. There was a reason why they called it plug and pray back in the day. When it worked, it was great. We can take Windows 95 on the road with dial-up networking. And it has built-in email support. Now, funny story, when I started university in 1993, I had an email account with a 2 meg disk quota. The email server itself was an IBM RS-6000. It had 256 megs of memory. And for the time, that was a staggering amount of memory. Oh, do you think we should register our new copy of Windows 95? And we need to restart the computer. Pull that startup disk out of there first. Now I'm using a real floppy instead of my Gotek for this part. In my third year of university, one of the computing science students was caught hacking into the network. By the time they caught him, he'd actually downloaded almost a full copy of Windows 95. I mean, what do you do with a guy like that? He's obviously committed a crime, but at the same time, he's demonstrated some real technical abilities. Oh, and of course, we have to put a printer in there. I'm going to go with an Epson 9-pin printer. Those suckers were indestructible. And here we are at the Windows 95 desktop. I never understood why they went with that teal green background. It's got kind of a clinical feel to it. Not really a fan. Let's change our screen resolution. And of course, I have to tell it what type of monitor I have. And even after such a minor change, we have to reboot the computer. Okay, we're back up in glorious 800 by 600 with 256 color. And let's get rid of that teal green. Now, of course, we've got all the familiar Windows 3.1 desktop patterns, but I don't want to use any of those. Let's see what we've got for a wallpaper. Yeah, I think I'll just go with the setup option. That looks good. But we've still got some teal green around the text of those icons. Let's get rid of that too. There we go, that's not too bad. Okay, so now I want to get this computer on the internet. Typically in the mid-1990s, you would have had a dial-up modem. This computer, I've got a network card in here. So let's go into TCP/IP settings, drop in an IP address. (192.168.2.27) and the net mask. Then I need a gateway to get to the outside world. 192.168.2.1. And we'll turn on DNS, so we've got name service resolution. Now my DNS server is the same as my default gateway. Now, that might be different on your computer, of course. And save that info. And of course, we need to reboot. It was pretty common with Windows 95. Almost any change that you made, you had to reboot the computer. So let's pull up a DOS prompt and see if we've got connectivity. Okay, I can ping the interface itself. But it looks like I'm not reaching the default gateway, and I don't have name service resolution. Okay, so let's go back into settings, take a look, see what might be wrong. I'll pull up my network card settings. Yeah, DNS looks good. I don't think I need anything in the domain. Yeah, IP is good. Let's clean up some of that crap. I see our problem right here. That network card is not set to IRQ3. That's actually on IRQ10. So Windows wasn't properly talking to the network card, and of course, as a result, not getting to the outside world. That ping that you saw earlier, that was just proving the TCP/IP stack was okay, not actually connecting to, well, really anything. And save that info. And guess what we've got to do now? We've got to reboot. And once we're back up and running, we'll pull up that DOS prompt again and see if we can ping. Beautiful. Yeah, I can ping Google. Okay, so let's try and get out on the internet. Now, I probably shouldn't have bothered with this internet connection wizard. Everything is set up already, so this is probably just going to get in the way. Now, if I were configuring a dial-up modem, that would probably have been a better option. No, I don't want to use Windows messaging. And I don't have a proxy on this system. I do on my main computer, but certainly not on this one. There's a lot of modern internet protocols that an old browser like this simply wouldn't understand. It's not going to bring up Google. It won't bring up the freebsd.org site, even the slackware.org site. It's not quite right. Now, I had planned to talk about the early days of the internet in this video, but this one's already getting fairly long. I'm going to bump that into part 3. We'll take a look at Netscape Navigator, talk about email, maybe set up an email account. I'll go over ICQ, and I've got a couple other things that I'd like to talk about. So if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to like and subscribe. Drop a comment down below. And as always, thanks for watching.